Hey, Jody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Much better.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I have a few technical difficulties, but I think we're up and running here.
All right, story of my life.
Always something.
Is that the truth?
Keeps life interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting and or stressful, however you want to look at it, right? Ugh, it's crazy. I'm
Oh,
gonna wait just a few minutes to see if anybody else pops on.
well, hey,
I know others had said they were going to be there, so we'll wait.
look what I got today.
Ah, pretty cool, huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome. The book is, you'll like the book too. I don't know if you've ever read that, but
Nope, looking forward to it.
easy read. And yeah, it really helped me when I decided to not be a nurse at the bedside and do something different with my life. So it really helped. So yeah.
I'm going to send you something out in the mail too, by the way.
You are. Is that
Yes.
that new car?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that pretty?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it, you like it?
Love it.
Yeah, good.
Love it. I had a Kia Optima.
Okay,
A
sure.
bad, but it wasn't good for long distance.
Right.
It was hard on the back. So
Uh-huh.
this is a beautiful car, very comfortable. So
Nice. I like it's white, or is it, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
white,
cool.
black accents. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then what year is it?
2020.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So very happy with it. So
yeah. So how was your drive all good and stuff?
yeah, well, yeah, minor hiccups here and there, taking a wrong turn or
Yeah.
somebody decided that, they were in the left lane, they needed to make an exit instead of like slowing down, they decided to speed up and cut you off. That was
yeah, that happens way too often.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of inattentive drivers. Just, I don't know if it's cell phones, I don't know what it is, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of frightening. I don't think we had been on the road to come home more than 2 hours when that happened. Are you kidding?
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Go, up and around all the West Virginia mountains that I hadn't driven yet. So that really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I wouldn't want to do it during the winter.
Right.
And I want to do it at night.
Right.
But the beautiful view, it's about probably a good couple hours up in the mountains.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. The up and down. Yeah. I love the mountains. I like any mountains, honestly.
It was
yeah.
So
good.
Yeah,
good. Well, I'm going to get started because I want to talk about motivation and really what is that and all that good stuff. If people log on, I'll just let them in. But I have quite a few people that do watch the replay, so it's a good thing.
Okay, good.
So why do you think there is no such thing as motivation? Or have you ever heard that before?
No.
So let's picture it this way. So the hard way to get yourself to exercise is you're going from the couch and you keep telling yourself like, I need to run, I need to exercise, and you're like, I need, and you go and stuff happens, right? So the easier way to get to exercise, I'm just looking at my notes, is you kind of set little goals, if you will, not necessarily goals, or little like, okay, I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get dressed for my run or for my exercise. I'm gonna put my exercise clothes on, my shoes, and all that kind of stuff. And then now that I'm dressed, I'm gonna go out the door and I'm gonna go outside, and then I'm gonna get in my car. So you look at it, and then you get to the gym and you're going to walk in and you start to warm up. So it's the process that you're looking at. You're not looking at the big view of, I'm going to run this marathon, and you go from this couch that you've been sitting on for the last 5 years to going and exercising and meal prepping and doing all this, but you don't have a process set in place. And so it's really hard to be motivated to do that, right?
That's true.
Yes. And so what I call it's you're creating momentum. So all those little process pieces is a momentum. And so it's like small repeated purposeful actions or activities. And you start small, like it's getting up off the couch, to that larger goal of running that marathon or running that 5K, or picking up a dumbbell and doing bicep curls, or, okay, how do I meal prep? What are those steps in doing that, et cetera, et cetera. So, so do we actually need motivation? What does that really mean? And I think when you look at motivation as a change in behavior, so we talk a lot about changing your behavior, your identity, all that kind of stuff. Develop, so you learn, and I don't want to say competencies because it's not that big, but you learn new habits and new tricks and new things. How do I meal prep? You know, how do I learn how to do a bicep curl? All that kind of stuff. You set some goals, you create interest in it. Like, I am interested in losing 20 pounds. I'm interested in eating better. And just kind of creating those habits. And you get started on that, right? And you think you've got it all dialed in, but then what happens is the inevitable happens, right?
Plateau.
Right, that, or things like life.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Work, boredom, you're afraid, right? So it's like you read this, you feeling bad, you have 20 pounds you want to get off, and these are just examples. You want to learn how to eat better, and you want to like learn how to motivate yourself, and you want to do all these things to get to that ultimate goal, and you get fired up, and you got this new schedule and all this kind of stuff, and you're exercising and you're eating well and you're doing all that, and then those things happen, right?
Yep.
And so you're motivated, but then that happens. So now what? Or your kid gets sick, the holidays come,
and you get out of sync.
Yeah. You get a new job that you don't like. I mean, there's all kinds of things. And then you get, oh, this meal prep, it's boring. It takes forever. It's not fun anymore, all of that. And then you can't seem to get yourself exercising again, or meal prepping, or getting off the couch. So, you know, it just happens. And then you forget like that why. And, you know, and when we talk, and when I first met you, we talked about what your why is. And that's the reason. What is your why? Because that is your motivator, and it has to be internal. I can't make you exercise, and nobody else can too.
Exactly.
You know, and you can be, you know, the president of the United States, but he can't make you do things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And so that happens. You have to have kind of that intrinsic, like, why am I doing this? What is that passion? You know, how do I stay inspired, and how do I stay motivated? So is there such a thing?
Yeah. Well, you have to remind yourself of it too.
You do.
When you kind of get off track, you have to remind yourself why you're doing it. The thing kind of changes is when you start seeing the changes in your body, and it's all of a sudden it'll go from, you know, the why being that I want to be fit and I want to be healthy and I don't want to be on medication, to I like how my body looks. Right. I see that. And I think for me, that's when I start to struggle. I have to get back to the real reason why, which is I want to be healthy and I want to be fit. And that the bonus, the side effect of it is you get to physically see the changes that all of your hard work. But it's hard.
Yeah. And, you know, it's hard to, I don't necessarily believe in motivation in a sense, because I sometimes don't have motivation. Like for me, I'm motivated to have a glass of wine. I'm motivated to go ride the Harley. I'm motivated to eat guacamole and tortilla chips, but I'm not so motivated to get out of bed in the morning because I don't enjoy it, right? But I also know what my ultimate goal is and where I want to see myself. So you make yourself do it. You just do it.
Do it. That's
But
right.
sometimes there's this little devil that sits up here that says, Diana, why don't you just hit snooze and go back to sleep? You
Yeah.
can sleep in another hour, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on and on.
You
So
did. Yeah.
what's that?
You deserve that extra hour.
Yeah, right. And so that little guy that sits up there is going to be there every single morning for me. And I've accepted that that's going to happen, but I've learned to live with it. Like, I know that that's going to happen. So I have to fight through it and get up.
Right.
Because I know that I have to get on with my day, and I've got people counting on me. I got my family and all that. So there is no like magic pill, just like there's no magic pill for losing 30 pounds. And there isn't. People still want to think that way, but there's still the work that you have to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can lose it, but if you cheat at it, so to speak, do it the easy way, it's going to come right back on.
Right.
What I've been saying to myself too, instead of saying, I have to get up, I have to do the workout, I have to go for a walk, I try to catch myself and say, I get to, because there's a lot of people that don't get to get up and go for a walk, or they want to, but they can't, they don't get to actually work out. Right. So
they might not have the support system in place for that. And then, yeah. I mean, if I had a magic pill, I'd be so popular, like,
yes, you would.
More popular. So the thing that I have to tell myself is kind of like, don't think, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't think so much, because you know what? It takes your brain 3 to 4 seconds to change its mind.
Yes.
That's it. That's not long. So just get up and do it.
Yeah.
Not easy, but
I tell myself too, when I'm working out, when like something is screaming on my body, or I'm just having an issue or I'm just not feeling it, I'm having trouble finding my motivation, so to speak,
right.
Going, actually tell myself, like I'm talking to myself, I'm doing this because I love you.
Right.
I'm doing these push-ups, even though they hurt, I'm doing them because I love you.
Yeah. And it's that, right. And you're doing it for you. And and the reward of feeling so good when you're done, and like, it's a celebration.
Yeah.
And reward yourself. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you can apply that to any activity. It's going to get you closer to your goal if you just do it. Right. It's kind of like using your schedule as your sergeant. Like you're in the army, and it's telling you exactly what to do. So, I mean, we all need goals, but you can't like worship your goals, right?
Nope,
because it's better to be consistent than like, well, I got to meet that goal. I have to do that. And if you're consistent with it, it's just automatically going to happen. So when we talk about consistency and doing that 3 times a week, and meal prepping on Sundays or Wednesdays or whatever works best for you, it's the consistency to do that. So there's a couple phrases that I wanted to share, where it'd be like, don't chase goals, chase consistency.
Yes.
There is that goal. You have that ultimate goal where you want to be, but it's the consistency to get there. It's the habits that you're creating. Yeah. Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Those push-ups, they might not all be on your toes. Push-ups, they might be against the wall. They might be on your knees.
Yep.
Done is better than perfect. And you're not the one on the couch. You're moving. Like, you're not sitting on the couch, whether you're walking or cleaning your house or whatever. Action trumps thinking.
Yep.
Quit thinking about it. Just go do it.
Absolutely.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yep.
All talk, no action. I could go on and on.
Yep.
And here's a good one, because people do have a fear of prevention, or fear of actually making it happen. But if you think about what I want is bigger and more important than the fear that prevents me from achieving it.
There you go.
And that could be with anything. It doesn't even have to be related to nutrition and exercise and mindset and all that kind of stuff. It could just be like a presentation you're doing for your job, or having that difficult conversation with an employee. It's all of that. It's just, you want to be bigger. You want to be better in your job. You want to be a better person. You want to be a better woman, whatever. So just some interesting facts on motivation and things like that. So what are some things that cause lack of motivation, and how do you fix them? Because you can be crippling.
Yeah.
Not having that. So one of the first things is a lot of people don't really know exactly what they want.
True.
Like think about it. So, or maybe you don't know what you want, but because there's lack of clarity in exactly what you want. So when I talk to women before they work with me, we talk about, well, what is your why? And you want to get down to the nitty gritty. Like there is reasons. And when people say, I want to do it because I want to get healthy, what does that mean? Well, it means I want to get off my blood pressure medications. That means I want to have more energy. This means I don't want to be diabetic like my mom. I mean, it could go on and on and on. So it is like, what do you want? And there's a lot of people that don't know exactly what they want.
Yes.
So it's really interesting.
I want to prove to myself that I can do it.
Right. Yeah. And have that. Yeah, for sure. So, it's just about focus, honestly, and what you really, really want out of life. And it should be somewhat detailed as to what you want.
And I think it should be too. It's okay to have goals of a goal, but I think along the way you should have many goals so you feel like you're accomplishing. You don't feel like you're working 6 months to a year to reach one goal.
Mm-hmm.
Have goals. Start here. Okay. Whether it's okay, I want to lose 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately I want to lose 25 pounds.
Right.
But goal is, I want to lose 5 pounds by such and such a date. I want my blood pressure to come down. I want to sleep better at night.
Right. And it, like you said too, it's those non-scale victory type things. Like I can go up that flight of stairs without having to stop.
Yes.
I can run up the stairs when I wasn't able to do that. I can go and lift boxes that I couldn't do 2 weeks ago. So it's just, different things like that. I'm just going to admit Heidi in. So you have to have, and that can be physically in your life. Physically, it can be financial goals. It can be anything like, you wanted that, you got that new car, all that kind of stuff. And it's really important to write that stuff down too. Another reason why you're lacking motivation. Hey, Heidi, you're not in control of your physiology, right? You don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So you want to lose, 25 pounds. Well, what does that look like? So it's different for everybody. Or like, here's an example. Like for me, I'm sitting at my computer a lot. Not every single day, but typically this is my Monday. So like Mondays and Wednesdays, I do a lot of work at my computer because that's how I have my schedule. And I'm trying to work on my posture, right? So what's good posture look like?
Right.
So what does 25 pounds look like? Right. What does that mean to you?
It's ugly.
What?
It's ugly.
Yeah. Right.
You showed us what 10 pounds of fat looks like. 25 pounds.
And it takes up a lot of space, that fat. And so, obviously doesn't come up. Like when you think of fat, it doesn't come from just one part of your body. It comes from all over, as you guys know. So you lose back fat, but you lose boob fat. You lose in your
earlobes.
Yeah, I think in your ear and your neck and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, what does that look like, and motivating yourself. So when I talked to you guys too, before you first worked with me, we talked about closing your eyes and using your imagination. What do you see yourself looking like 3 months from now or 6 months from now? Right. And using that imagination. So you want to, physically, what does that look like? So it's really important. Your mind's going to follow your body. So if you have this vision of what you want to look like, maybe it's a picture of when you were 25 years old and you want to look like that again, right? Or maybe you don't, I don't know. But
I think I was pregnant. I don't want to look like that.
I hear you. Yeah. All right. 10 years ago.
All right. Okay.
So your mind does follow your body. Or your body follows your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
So just like getting out of bed in the morning, if my mind says don't get up or hit that snooze, my body's going to follow, right?
Correct.
Your mind, controls that next push up, that next squat, whatever it is.
That's
So,
right.
yeah. So, when you're going to feel more motivated too, when you have more energy. So before I get on phone calls or before I do these things, I pump myself up because I want to feel the energy and get energy from you, but also give energy. So you kind of have to prepare yourself. Yeah. So number 3, you've made lack of motivation part of your identity. I'm not motivated. I'm just going to sit on the couch, right? Or you say, I'm just so stupid. You start, saying bad things to yourself. So instead of saying like, I'm so stupid or I'm dumb, say I did something dumb. I did something stupid. That doesn't mean you are.
Right.
Or if somebody, like my husband and I get into this, so he's super intelligent. So sometimes he'll say things that I feel stupid. And I'll be like, oh, that was really stupid of me, wasn't it? And so him and I kind of have this where I tend to do that bad self-talk too. And so he'll kind of call me out on that. But you just have to make that separation between, between I'm feeling stupid and just I did something stupid. Like we all make mistakes, right? So it's just how you repeat that to yourself. So just keep in mind, those mental patterns that happen, and we do that with each other because I tend to do that. And I think a little bit that comes from a little bit of my upbringing because I love my mother. She's a little overbearing. And I think I did a little bit of that with my kids too. And I think I have some of that stuff that kind of hangs around.
Yeah.
So, another reason why we lack motivation, if you will, is maybe you're not aiming high enough. You're setting too low of goals. It's kind of like you're limiting yourself.
Okay.
So like if I talk to a woman who really should lose 50 pounds and she'll tell me, well, I know I need to lose 50, but I would be happy with 30. No, shoot for the sky. And we just take you there bit by bit by bit by bit. So it's things like that. Right. Right.
Well, and that's how I do that with this whole thing. I'm 55 years old. I'm not gonna, if I try to do too much too soon, I'm not going to, and I hurt myself, I'm not going to heal like I did when I was 25 or 30.
Very true.
So I tried to be a little bit more cautious in my, and allow myself plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get where I get so that I don't injure myself and have a setback.
Yeah. And so if you've ever heard of Grant Cardone, he has a book called the 10X rule. He's always like, you shoot for the sky, like you make those 10X goals. And then you set targets along the way to get you to those goals. So if you like, you want to lose 100 pounds, don't say, well, I would feel okay at 50. Yeah, you probably will, but why not 100?
Exactly. Why not?
Right? It doesn't happen overnight. And I think people just kind of pull back because they want to self-limit. And I'm guilty of that too, in a sense that I put some self-limiting things because I don't always trust in myself that I can make it bigger happen.
Gotcha.
And I think that's kind of a normal, I hope it's normal, maybe it's not. But that's going to be lack of motivation then too. It's going to happen. So, so just set that high target. And then you just set those smaller little bits and pieces as you go along. So it's kind of like what he says, it's just 10X, maybe you're shooting for $1,000, but why not 100,000 or whatever it might be. So another reason, and you just alluded to this, another reason that you may lack motivation is you're overwhelmed, you're stressed. You're under a lot of pressure. You have to give this presentation. You're just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And you tell yourself that. So being overwhelmed can be very, very draining. Yep. And then what happens is then you're not going to do it because you're so overwhelmed. You're nervous, you're anxious, and then you don't even know what to do first.
You don't even start.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you just need to take a break,
Mhm.
think about what that means. And I think a lot of people get into that, especially now. We do take on a lot. We say yes too many times. We need to say no.
Yeah.
Talked about that in the past, that it's okay to say no. You got to think about yourself too and not be overwhelmed. And as women, we think we can do it all. We can make the dinner, we can meal prep, we can exercise, we can take the kids here, we can go to this and we can do that. And before long, we're like, oh, and so that's going to cause lack of motivation. You're not going to want to get out of bed in the morning. You're not going to feel like you want to exercise. It's too much. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. And having too much on your plate. You want to focus on one thing and crush it, and focus on the next thing and crush it. And, a lot of this stuff, as I was preparing this, my husband and I have been trying to work at. He has 9 irons in the fire all the time. And we talk about simplifying things down. And so we're really trying, because we're both in our 50s, we're trying to simplify so we don't feel stressed and not overwhelmed. We do have high goals for ourselves, but we kind of get, and not so much me, and if he was here, he'd agree, but he has that shiny new penny syndrome where, oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. And, you're like, pretty soon you're like, holy crap, what's going on? And so we just need to, again, go back to the why. Why are we doing that? Does that make sense now?
Right.
So, yeah. So we work on a lot of this stuff too. Here's a good one. And I know you guys can relate to this. We're prone to procrastination.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So if it's overwhelming, you're not going to do it. You're going to procrastinate on it. Right. So if you don't have enough clarity, that's part of it. Because that ambiguity leads to, I can't talk today, leads to that procrastination and the overwhelm. And I guess the best thing that I've learned to do is chunk things down into doable actions. So another example of that is my dad. He's a retired police officer. He's always done construction, built homes. He does decks and cabinets and all kinds of stuff. He is the king of procrastination. And he's learned too over the years that he's had to chunk things down and make it doable. Even he's 80 and he still sometimes struggles with that, getting through that. So it's weird.
It's like a type A personality right there, police officers.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So, and then another reason is you're not being specific enough to spur your motivation. We kind of talked about that already. You've got to be specific, and we have to remember why you're doing it. Why do you want to get in shape? Why now? Yeah. What is your motivator? Is it you want to be a role model? Is it because you don't feel good? Is it you want to get in that bikini? You want to rock that dress for New Year's? I mean, there's so many different reasons for that. But when it's vague, that motivation is going to fade. It's going to fade away. So, and then another one, you're seeking motivation where you should be seeking habits. We talk about lifestyle habits, right? Because I hear people tell me, well, you're so motivated, but I'm not motivated all the time.
I don't think anybody,
humans, we're not, but I've also learned habits to help me with that motivation and that momentum. I should be calling it momentum, not necessarily motivation, but momentum to get where I want to be in many different areas. And it could be not just health and fitness. It could be motivating financially, being, it could be spiritually. It could be so many different things. So, and I have to try and motivate myself on a daily basis too, to get where I want to be. And today was tough for me because we had a lot going on this weekend, and we did about 8 hours of driving, and I just but once I just, like I said earlier in this talk, is I just did it. And eventually it just got better and better and better and better. Yeah.
It's like the snowball effect.
You
start and you just keep going.
Yeah. So, So how do you develop those habits? What are some ideas?
Well, consistency, not
Mhm.
allowing not hitting the snooze more than once,
Mhm.
allow yourself one and, don't beat yourself up for the one,
Right. Right. So you're
say, okay,
identifying the habit first.
yeah. So
Yeah. Like,
it's,
what is it?
yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and sometimes with the snooze, you don't need to, but if you are really tired and struggling to get out of bed and trying to, don't beat yourself up for hitting it once.
Right. Right.
Get up, and I usually have everything
Mhm.
all, it's like my sneakers are in the same spot, my earbuds are in the same spot, usually my hat that I wear is all together,
Yeah.
so that when I get up, I go to the bathroom, get my clothes on, come
Mhm.
downstairs,
Yeah.
that
So those are
incorporate.
like what you said those are cues.
Yeah.
Those are, so like you said, your alarm, and you've got things set up for that next day. So it's like getting ready the night before for the next day. That's your cue to
Yes.
stay on track. So that's a
Yep.
good one. You should identify your rewards too. What are you going to give yourself as a reward for your behavior, your habits? So reward yourself, and maybe it's just, a delicious protein shake.
Right. Yeah. Ooh, or muscle milk protein. Yeah.
Yeah, protein,
Or
right?
a
Should
beetroot
always
latte.
identify the reward. Yeah, we don't reward ourselves enough. When we think about rewards, it always comes down to food, right? But
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's not like
Right.
you're doing it every single day. It's like, you know
Right.
what? Look at the great week I had. I'm going to have that scoop of ice cream, or
Right.
whatever it is.
Something.
Yeah. Make sure you're executing your routines, because
Yep.
once those routines keep, it's like you said, getting out of bed, first your alarm, getting out of bed, getting blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's your routine. And we all like routine.
Yeah. Some people really thrive on it.
Right. Right. I like routine. I have to have routine. When
Me
it
too.
gets messed up is where I struggle. And then I have to go,
Yeah.
okay, I got to adjust and make it different, so. And then the other thing would be to write it down. Write down those habits. That's really helpful to have that on your paper. Like, here's your why, and these are my habits. This is what I'm going to do. Like,
That's true.
there's nothing wrong with that. So,
No.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna recap some of these 8 things. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the 8 things, or the 8 reasons that lack of motivation has, or the lack of momentum. You don't know what you want. So gain clarity by setting some goals, and they could be just chunked goals, not the great big 100-pound loss goal. You're not in control of your physiology. So, what is that person? Who does that person look like? Who do you look
Right.
like, at the end, so,
Right.
It's that actionable, motivated kind of state. Or you've made lack of motivation part of your identity. So you need to reframe those beliefs, into someone who's highly motivated.
Right.
Right. And not always easy, but
No.
again, it's kind of like Nike's slogan, just do it. Just keep doing it day after day after day after day. And then it becomes a habit.
Yes.
Just like quit smoking, right?
Absolutely. That was tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's like any of that stuff. Yeah. 10x
That
your
was,
goals, 10x your actions.
yeah.
Yep. Find your why. Make sure you have that why. Simplify it and do one thing at a time to get to that.
Yeah.
If you're prone to procrastination, break big things into smaller, actionable items. Chunk it down. Yeah.
Yep.
Or you're not being specific enough to spur motivation. So be as specific as possible as what you want and what you need to do to get there. Last thing, you're seeking motivation where you should be seeking habits. So again, it's just the repetitive behavior. It's the meal prepping. It's the this, it's the that. And life's always going to try and sneak in there with something that you're not planned on. But
Absolutely.
just know you'll get back to that habit, and it's not comfortable when you're not in that, when you can't make that habit happen.
That's true.
But it will come back.
Okay.
Just like Heidi had that horse show on the weekend, and she did the best she could to make sure those habits were still in place. Didn't always work out, but she just kept going and taking one step at a time, and one day at a time. So, yeah, that's my.
I learned.
What's that?
I was going to say, I learned that a Yeti full of ice could be my weights.
Oh, hey.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So I really wanted to talk about motivation, and there's such a thing. I think to me, it's an internal momentum that you have to have, because I can't motivate you to go and get out of bed in the morning. I can't make you do something. But when you think about that big why and why you're doing this and the steps that you're learning to get to that point,
right,
that's the momentum. And you just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And yes, life's going to happen. It is. That's just the way it goes.
right.
But that doesn't mean that, that has to end. So
Sure.
you're always
Sure.
going to have something. So get back to that reason why.
Yep.
And those lifestyle habits. So, well, thanks for participating again.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for joining, Heidi. You guys, I've had this recorded, so this will be in Mind Body Elite Beautiful Ladies group. So if you want to listen again or share it with somebody, that would be awesome.
All right.
Otherwise,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have an amazing night, and we'll see you next week or see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.